when you joined the school, you said you had a plan
Yes.
in mind to take it out from the position and bring it to where it is today, or I believe it is amongst the top 30 schools in WA,
20
schools in WA. So what was the plan you had in mind here?
So as I mentioned earlier, the school was at the brink of closure. The buildings were run down. At the same time, the school had a debt of $10 million to an overseas benefactor, which was raising questions from the education department. And when I took over, the first thing I did that we need to have independent outside agencies to come and review us and provide us feedback, professional and strategic feedback. So two things. One is that I approached CEO of ACER, Australian Council for Education Research, Professor Geoff Masters. He is the person that the education minister and the government gets advice on, education matters. So I had a meeting with him early 2012, just a few months after I commenced. And I asked him one question, that to improve the teaching and learning process of the school, what do you recommend and suggest? What process we should go through? So he recommended that we have recently gone through school improvement audits in Queensland, and that is producing really good results. So I would recommend that you go through that process. And I will recommend two of our best consultants from Brisbane, Queensland, to come to WA, audit your school's teaching learning process, and provide you recommendations. So I took on board that advice, although the three existing principles that we had at that time were bitterly against any external body to come in and review us.
So three principles mean the principles of Kewdale, Dinella, and Thornley at that time.
We had three campuses at that time, obviously.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I got a lot of resistance from within that we should not have an external body to come in. And my policy was that we should be open and transparent. And we can only improve if we get feedback and we get reviewed by an independent external body. So we went through, in spite of all the resistance, the process. And in fact, the tool that they used at that time was later accepted by the government as National Improvement School Improvement Agenda tool. Okay. That was applied to all schools after 4 or 5 years. And it's not mandatory now anymore, but for a period of time, it was mandatory for all schools to go through. So anyway, we got two of the best consultants recommended by Professor Geoff Masters, who came and spent a couple of weeks in all schools. And they obviously looked at our curriculum planning. They looked at our assessment processes. They looked at our registrations. They looked at our policies, and they interviewed teachers, students, and some of the parents, and the principals, obviously, and myself. After this process, they produced reports, one report for each school. The report had commendations that these are the areas that you are excelling. These are the areas that you are at par as far as standards are concerned. And these are the areas you need further improvement. So it wasn't a good report at that point in time, obviously, but we wanted to know the ground reality. So we got to know where do we stand and where do we need to get to. So we prepared with the help of two local consultants. One of those consultants was the retired principal from Perth Modern School, and another one from Curtin University. So we hired them that you work with our senior leadership team, and based on this report produced by ACER, we would like to devise a strategic plan for the next 5 years. It was quite an intensive process. So they went through this and prepared this strategic plan. Now we've got a 5-year strategic plan for the college. However, we understand that each campus is unique and there is a context in each campus, which could be different. So we thought, okay, we have got a 5-year strategic plan, but we will have a 2-year operational plan for each college, which is contextual. And that will come out of this bigger picture strategic plan. So we went through that process. We got a 2 years operational plan. Then I ensured that twice a year, every principal is reporting back on that operational plan. And there were specific targets set in 4 areas. The first area, which is the most important area for a faith-based school, was religion, faith, and values. The second domain that was part of the strategic plan was teaching and learning. which includes curriculum, which includes assessment and moderation and all the rest of the process that goes through. The third domain was transitions and pathways, which is an important area, that how the children are transitioning from one phase of school to another phase of school, from kindergarten to pre-primary, primary to high school, from high school and beyond to university and workforce or TAFE colleges. So, and how we can make those transitions as smooth as possible and as comfortable as possible for our students. The fourth area that we looked at was students' well-being. So these 4 areas were the focus areas as far as our strategic plan was concerned and as far as our operational planning is concerned. So under each area, then we had specific focus areas or key areas. And then under each key area, we had specific goals set that in the next 5 years, this is what we want to achieve. These are the systems that we want to be in place and embedded in the school culture at the end of 5-year cycle. We have broken down those objectives and goals into sub-goals so that we can put them in operational plans for each campus. And then a very consistent process of reporting back. So at the end of every semester, each principal has to report it back.